So let's talk anxiety, because before 2017, I didn't understand anxiety and what that was. But then when I think back to my childhood, I had it back then. I woke up and I had it, but there was not a label, there was not a name.
Yeah.
And now I can put a name to it and be like, this is anxiety. Breathe through it. Inhale, exhale, have those tools, the meditation, everything like that.
Yeah, for me, you know, anxiety has 1,000 faces is what I say, because it shows up so differently in all of us.
Yeah.
But it's always about that fear and premonition of the future, right? It's the anticipation. And I had somebody who was a teacher of mine a while ago say that, you know, excitement and anxiety are cousins, and they're just right next to each other. So anytime that we're in this mode of anxiety, we have the opportunity to turn it to excitement. You know, so, oh my God, I'm so freaked out, I'm about to get on this plane. Oh my God, I'm so excited, I get to be on a flight and I'm going to New York, Hawaii, Kansas City, wherever that you're heading. And it's true that they're really cousins.
And so what is that shift in your mindset? It's from going from, oh my gosh, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, to I get to do this.
Yeah. Well, because the mindset shift switches the energy in the body, and you know the body keeps the score. We feel it in our stomach, we feel it in our chest, we feel it in all the ways, but the brain is going to control the body and the central nervous system.
Have you ever had a reaction in your body to anxiety? Like, what's your worst reaction?
Full panic attack. A heartbeat, 180, 90 beats a minute, can't breathe, narrowing of the vision. The worst panic attack I ever had, to this day. I was in Times Square, horrible place to go when you are agoraphobic. But,
right.
but here I am meeting a friend from Austin actually at that time at like Bubba Gump Shrimp in Times Square, the worst
Love
place.
Bubba Gump, but not the healthiest. And there's a connection between mental health and what you eat.
Facts. Facts. So there I am with her at Bubblegum Shrimp, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out at the table. Like skin crawling the whole nine.
Ooh. That's like the worst. So I used to freak out more because, you know, the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
So that nerve, that will just put your body in, like, for me, in paralysis. Like, I can't lift my arm,
Right.
Can't get out of bed. But then once you notice it and you're like, oh, that's just my vagus nerve freaking out, then I can breathe through my anxiety, and I give it a name and I recognize it. So what do you do at Bubba Gump Shrimp?
Ooh, well, I want to ask you about giving it a name, but basically I got outside and we said goodbye, and that's when it immediately hit me. So it was like I was holding on until I said goodbye, and then I literally was having a panic attack in the taxi, and I was just like holding on for dear life until I could get back home, living in New York at the time. But that was one of the worst ones that I had. Fortunately, I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. Because there are some people who unfortunately need to be, go to the hospital once it kicks in.
Been there.
It's rough.
It's so hard.
Yeah. So putting a name to it, how do you do that?
So when anxiety first hit me, and I thought I was literally having a heart attack, like numbness. I was in a meeting. Well, no, actually it was before. It was like this phase of like 3 weeks. We were on the Tone It Up tour, 2017.
I remember
Before
that.
I went on stage, I was feeling like I was having a heart attack, and just went in the bathroom with Sarah, who was my assistant at the time. I was like, just breathe. What's happening? You can do this. And I thought something was really wrong with me. And then I got back to LA, and I was waking up in the middle of the night, and my heart was racing. And I was like, something's wrong with me. And then I was at a meeting at the Tone It Up headquarters with our business partners, and I was drinking a green juice, and all of a sudden I dropped it because it came on again. And I was like, I gotta go. And then Jeremy was like, he came into the other room. I called my friend who's a nurse, and I was like, something's wrong with me. I think I'm having a heart attack. And that's the initial response too that a lot of people have when anxiety comes on, when you don't have a name for it. And then I went to the doctor the next day, did all the EKGs, everything, all the tests. She's like, you have anxiety. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, for me personally, I'm like, I don't want any medication. Like, I just need to make sure that I have those tools. I need to work out. I need to do yoga. I need to meditate every day. And literally then, once I knew what that feeling was, and even sometimes I wake up Bobby and I'm like, hey, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. It's like waking up with that. But once you give it a name, hey, anxiety, what's up? You good? You are so good.
Yeah.
Like, I can work through you.
Right.
You do not have me.
Yeah.
You cannot control me.
Yeah.
So I wake up, I breathe, I drink water, I meditate, and that's the important thing. Like, give anxiety a name and be like, what's up?
So what I'm hearing you say, you take your power back in that moment, and don't, because there is, for our people out there that have a spiritual belief system, there's some real, once you get, it's way more than a medical conversation, right? It has layers and layers and layers. And when you, to me too, dark energy, light energy, no matter how you want to say it, different spiritualities, to your point, it has a dark energy to it. And then you put that light on it, like boom, and then it's like,
yeah. And again, I went to the doctor and had every test done. They're like, you're completely healthy.
Right.
So I'm like, it's all here.
Yep. Yeah. You know, it's interesting when I hear you say that they said, oh, you're fine, you're completely healthy, you have anxiety. Imagine a world, and this is what the Big Silence is doing, imagine a world where there's education earlier in life, so that if and when you get to that place, which most of us get to, you have like the pre-skills and tools that you don't think that you are having a heart attack. You don't think, right? You have those things. Same thing with me. I suffered in silence for 1.5 years, but before I ever even told anyone.
Yeah.
And I still didn't know what I had.
Yeah. And the agoraphobia.
Yeah, then it got worse, but
Yeah.
it like crept up over time. Then huge trauma event. Then like, oh, now I'm trapped in my apartment.